Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of Bucs Banter. I'm your host Dan, and my guest is, as usual, Simon Conboy.
What's up, guys?
And this week we're gonna continue analysing the woeful state of the Bucs after their. Hold on, let me double check the score again. Their 30 to 10 drubbing at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. So I'll just let you start off.
Yeah, I mean this was a pretty embarrassing performance. The defence played well up until about the 2-minute warning. That's the only positive the Buccaneers can take from this. I mean, they were keeping the Saints in front of them for the most part, getting a little bit of pressure. You know how difficult it is to sack Drew Brees. He gets rid of the ball so quickly, but they were playing quite well there, containing the run enough. But the blocked punt, that was a biggie. Good to start the game, hold the Saints to a field goal, and then once again the Buccaneers' arch nemesis, and it's been this way for a number of years, flags, ends up causing a blocked punt, down 9-0, and once again the team has to play from behind. I don't think it matters at this point, frankly, with the performance the offense trotted out yesterday. It was woeful. It was the worst I've seen this offense look in a while, whether it was Winston in the first half or Fitzpatrick in the second half. The offensive line was abysmal. Winston got killed in that first half. He was under constant pressure, couldn't run the ball at all. Once again, the play calling is just atrocious. There's just no adjustments from this team. You can see the offensive line struggling. You can see that you can't run the ball. And it's like, well, we're just going to continue trying to throw it deep and intermediate, and we're just going to keep trying to run it up the middle. And it was just woeful. That you could predict how most of the drives were going to go. It's like, right, we're going to run it on first, up the gut, nothing's going to happen. Then we'll try it again on second down, and then we'll just make a throw on third down for the hell of it. And that's how it's looked for the last few weeks. But the line was atrocious. Drop passes, inaccurate throws, whether it was Winston or Fitzpatrick again. There were no positives about the offense yesterday whatsoever. Absolutely awful. And defensively, once that 2-minute warning happened, got beat on a couple of bad plays. I mean, the Alvin Kamara touchdown, too many broken tackles. And then in the second half, the game got put away. I mean, if you want to sum up sort of this year's version of the Buccaneers, the way that second half started was perfect. A 3-and-out, then a long drive on 2 busted defensive plays where you give up stupid runs. Once again, like when we were playing the Cardinals, you get 2 linebackers going for the same hole, even a gaping hole on one side on a play that you should probably stop in terms of the 2 plays that have been called. And then on the next play, you fumble it, and then they score a bomb on the first thing. So they've scored like 2 touchdowns to put the game away. Because, I mean, 16-3, you can come back at half-time with Fitzpatrick if the defence can keep playing well. And no, the team just imploded. Did you see the incident that occurred in this game?
Is this the Mike Evans incident?
Well, the Jameis Winston / Mike Evans incident, yeah.
I didn't realise Jameis was involved. I only saw the Evans half of it.
Well, I guess that's the contract. It's really stupid. I don't know what was going on, but for some reason, Evans decides to poke Marshawn Lattimore in the back of the head after a play. Like, at this point, Winston's not even in the game. This is in the second half. Just pokes him in the back of the head. Lattimore turns around, starts shoving him for some reason. Because I don't know. It seems the NFL players' default reaction to anything is to shove people. And then, to some degree, like, I would defend Evans in terms of the first thing that he does. Although I don't like the going and hitting the guy from behind like that, because that's a cheap shot. But I get the going in to protect your quarterback. But then, he starts trying to punch him when he's on the ground. And that's the point where you clearly have to draw a line. but all really stupid. But Jameis Winston starts it, and then everyone else covers himself. And like we're getting battered at the time. The game is clearly over. It's just embarrassing.
I think it's safe to say that incident is the perfect encapsulation of your season.
Oh yeah, it really is. Like the last 3 or 4 games have just, other than the Bills' performance, which was almost acceptable, it's been well below par. I mean, yesterday was really the game. I like Cutter, but I think he looks in over his head at this point.
Well, actually, this is going to lead into one of the things I was going to bring up. Is should we get into the meat of the matter? I think it's safe to say at this point, the players in that locker room are not buying into what the coaches are selling anymore.
No, yesterday's game was the one where it looked like this team has just lost it, and you have to really. I mean, I've been questioning the coaching, not so much from the team's togetherness standpoint and the guys being behind, the coaching staff. I've not really questioned that. I've been questioning the fact that we're being outcoached. I think that's apparent, that our game plans are just dire. We're very slow to adjust. You got to question the mental preparation, because the mistakes this team is making on a weekly basis, the constant penalties, the stupid decisions defensively. I mean, the amount of busts that you're seeing, the missed plays on offense. It's just mental breakdowns all over the field. And yesterday, this looked like a team that just in the second half just did not care, and it imploded. And you've just got to, when you've got a coach that I think is struggling to actually get the team to play, when you're getting the extracurricular stuff, you've really got to question their role. And at this point, unless there's a really big change with this team in the second half of the season, Carter's coaching for his job at this point, surely. The Glazers, this half of the season has been like thoroughly unacceptable. The team's had some injuries, sure, but not enough that you can point to that and say that's the reason this team is 2-6. I don't think any Buccaneers fan would blame it anything other than bad play and bad coaching.
Yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? I had a point, of course, as well. Actually, I just remember what I was going to say. The other issue you've got, of course, is the potential regression or lack of progress on the younger players, and it's a very young team. If anything, this is going to set you back a lot.
It's safe to say that there's been no improvement in any players. Like, you're getting good performances from the guys that have performed for this team for years. Levante is having a great season. Gerald McCoy's playing okay. He's not having his best year. That's about it, really. Cameron Brate's playing really well. He's the one guy you can say, yeah, he's progressed. He's an improved player. He's a good player. Everything else, backwards. Jameis has shown an improvement in his decision making, but his accuracy has been really poor. I think some of that is probably the injury. I think yesterday and the Carolina game, you could probably see the effects of that. And yesterday in particular, he got beat up pretty bad. And towards the end of the second quarter, you could see he had to be taken out of the game. When you get to the stage where a player's like starting to flinch and anticipate hits because they're in pain and it's your natural reaction.
I believe the technical term is David Carr syndrome.
Yeah. Well, you see it in a lot of players that are playing through an injury, and he got planted. That if you were watching the game, they replayed it a few times, and it was pretty much exactly the same as the hit where Jameis got injured by Alex Okafor, like just tackled from that side, lifted off the ground and just driven straight into the shoulder. And I mean, he was playing like crap before that, to be fair, in terms of his passing. Again, decision making was okay. It was just off target all game.
Yeah,
So
I think
they've got to consider sitting him these last two performances. You don't want it getting worse. They can't pass block right now. It's going to get worse. They can't run the ball. You can't protect him or hide him out there at the minute. So just sit him for a week or two.
And then, of course, there's the other compounding issue, which is no bye week. So as a result, I can imagine the stress in that locker room is at an all-time high, and you guys have no break.
Well, I mean, the stress was always going to be high. The bye thing's a pain for the dinged-up players, but in terms of this team, like, it wouldn't have mattered. Something has gone fundamentally wrong with this team's preparation this year. I mean, it's to me, it's got to be a mental thing, because this team is more talented than this. And I know you're not even close to a fan of this team, but they're better than 2-6. There's just.
I think the raw talent on paper, yes, I think the Buccaneers are better than 2-6. However, I do not believe in the coaching staff there.
I don't think anyone does at this point.
No, I mean, Jameis has shown no progression really from last year. You know, and you would expect it, especially with that receiving core he has. Your running game was always expected to be average, but you can't even get to average.
Well, I mean, the issues that I knew this roster had heading into the season, and I was very clear about this because they've been problems for years, is the offensive line, and they've been an issue. There's a real lack of talent in that group. Ali Marpet's a good player. Tamar Dotson's a good player. The rest of the players are below average. Then the pass rush, suspected they'd be able to cover that up somewhat with interior pressure, but the edge rush has been utterly non-existent. Noah Spence getting hurt didn't help, but he wasn't playing great anyway. There's no speed rush threat on this team. As a result, no pressure on and the secondary is a mess.
Yeah, your secondary is pretty woeful.
And that combination is just the worst. Well, we can't rush the pass and we can't cover anybody. And then this defensive scheme, it's a combination of bad execution, but considering what we're trying to do, you're trying to play these soft zones all day long, and it's been that way against Drew Brees. You can't have guys like lining 6-7 yards up off their guys every single snap. Like, Brees had the easiest day in the office he's probably had in a while, although he's looked very good the last few weeks. But it's just uninspiring. And the thing is, this team's not even fun to watch at the minute. The last couple of years, even Jameis's rookie year where they were 6-10, that they were fun to watch. And this team just looks miserable right now, and they're playing miserable.
And of course you've also got the signing of Deshaun Jackson, which has really given no dividends at all.
It's not paid dividend. And again, we had another play in this game where Deshaun Jackson gets open over the top, and Jameis missed him. It's just.
And obviously, then you got the flags issue as well.
But it's not even down to Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, the flags have been absolutely ridiculous. I think the Bucs had about 7 or 8 flags in the first half of this game, most of them on offense. 2 of them delay of game penalties on the offense, which is just unforgivable. But every time this team gets something going, and this has happened the last 3 games, every time they get into the opposing half of the field, it seems like someone just decides they're going to hold or full start. It's like, we cross midfield, boys, flag time. Don't like it here, half.
I think it speaks to the ingrained, undisciplined nature of this team. I mean, if you look across the NFL, the teams with the highest amount of penalties tend also to be the least disciplined, and funnily enough, also the bad team.
Well, the thing is, they're the same types of penalties. They're offensive line penalties, and this group is just. has just been regressing. And you can argue the last couple of weeks, just the whole team has gone backwards outside of the good defensive performance last week in Carolina. But yeah, it's bad. The impact players aren't, outside of Levante David, who's having a really good season, as I mentioned. The impact players aren't doing anything. Evans has been really quiet the last few games, and part of that is just the offense has been stagnant. I mean, the offense has been woeful these past 2 weeks, and it's just the lack of adjustments. Like if you're game planning to play the Buccaneers right now, it's really not that difficult. You just send 5 guys, and we're not going to adjust and start throwing short passes. We're not going to be able to run. We're just going to continue running into walls and throwing the ball like downfield whilst under huge amounts of pressure and slowly getting our quarterbacks killed. And that's Tampa Bay football right now. Oh, and you'll have a sprinkling of flags thrown in.
Yep, easy yardage there. This is Cutter's second season as head coach, I want to say. Second season. I do not think that he's due a third.
No.
I think you're going to have a complete coaching change.
Oh yeah, the whole coaching staff will go. I think the GM, Jason Light, he'll be able to. I imagine he's got enough kind of goodwill built up. I'd imagine the Glaziers are probably still looking at this roster as pretty talented. And when Light took the team over 3 years ago, I mean it's night and day. The roster is far superior to what it was. I mean, 3 years ago, comfortably down there with the worst teams in the league.
Hey, you never know. You could end up with Ken Wisenhunt as your head coach next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think Ken Wisenhunt's getting another go around. But yeah, unless this team really does turn it around. I mean, you're looking at performances like yesterday's are the definition of a fired coach. Like they're the games. If you see a couple more of those in quick succession, then that's when you see mid-season coaching changes.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look to the far future, because the current future for the Bucs is pretty much set in stone now.
Yeah, I mean, this season, the way I look at it is, right, if Cutter can get himself to 7-9, he can probably save his job.
No, I don't. No, I think the culture in Tampa needs a radical shift up, because just doing a Rams with Jeff Fisher and just keeping him there hoping.
Hey, I'm not saying it would be the right thing to do. Yesterday, the way the team handled that performance and what I saw from this team on the sidelines and the issues that I've had on the field, and bear in mind, yes, those have been my complaints with Cutter from when he took over this team, is the inflexibility that I see on the field, and I mean the adjustments are the thing that just drive me nuts watching this team, because it is just like watching the same thing go wrong on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at the Bucs as they stand right now, you've got your franchise QB. It's safe to say. I don't rate Winston highly, but he is your franchise QB. You've got a great receiving core, mediocre O-line, mediocre running back, and you have the potential on defense to be a really good unit. So,
well, you've got a good front seven. The secondary is one of those where it might get there, because part of the problem is like the youth there, because you've got a rookie safety in Justin Evans. Vernon Hargraves has struggled. He's in his second year. But you can't solve that problem quickly. And it's the same thing at the defensive end position. There's no impact player there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thinking about the way your team's built, the talent you've got available, not including the coaches that are currently out of work, are there any offensive or defensive coordinators in the league that you have seen that you're like, yes, I want this guy as my head coach next year?
If I was looking at the Bucs to get a new head coach, that would be tough. Because I mean, for years, I had my man crush on Mike Zimmer as one day as a Buccaneers coach. Gosh, I was right on that one. I don't know. The one that would most concern me would be if they just went for the flavour of the month at the offensive coordinator position. I'm not really sure who. I've not really looked into coaching candidates for next year though, if I'm entirely honest.
But although I understand where you're coming from with avoiding flavour of the month offensive coordinators, because that basically falls in line with not the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, because they're running. It's been described as the Eagles' offense is running a very college type scheme. This isn't my analysis. It's what someone else says. You've always got the danger.
Their passing attack is at the moment, but I think that's partly because they've got so many players that are new to the scheme, including Carson Wentz. I think the combination of Wentz in his second year and 2 first-year wide receivers, I think that's what's led to that. They'll keep doing it as long as it's successful, but I'd be worried about that working for the long term. I think if you're looking long term offensive coordinators, I mean, because I feel like if the Bucs go for another head coach, they're going to go to the offensive well again, because they're going to be thinking Jameis Winston needs to find his Sean Payton. But
well, I've got a little list here. I think this is this is up to date of coordinators that could be looking for head coaching jobs. A couple of standouts. I've got Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator for the Patriots.
I mean, I love Matt Patricia, but no, I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it.
I've got Mike Vrabel, Houston Texans defensive coordinator.
No, he's not ready.
Do you think not? I mean, he's done a damn good job down in Houston.
He has, but I don't think he's ready. I think this team needs a guy with some experience.
Oh, what about we've got Edgar Bennett, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator.
No, McCarthy's the main guy there.
Fair enough. Who else have we got here? Any names that jump off the page? Me. Oh, you can have Byron Leftwich, although he's the quarterbacks coach for the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. We did our stint with Byron Leftwich. It lasted like 2 games.
Yeah. Who else we got? Josh McDaniels.
That's not going to happen.
Again.
Yeah, I can't see that.
Bill Callahan. Well, that'd be interesting.
What, the guy that we beat in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, offensive line coach for the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskin. I'm aware of who he is. As I say, we beat him in the Super Bowl, so that would be an interesting matchup just based on that. I don't know, Callahan. That would be funny, but. Yeah, I don't know. I'll wait till the end of the season and see where things. I attach myself to anybody.
Sorry, I've got to agree with our other analyst, Arnie's in the chat. Jeff Fisher, yes. Tampa Bay should sign Jeff Fisher. 0.500 forever.
I'm all right. This team's badly disciplined enough as it is.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
not need.
Yeah, throw Jeff Fisher in the mix.
The flag total going up.
Well, at least your special teams would be good.
I'm pretty sure we're the most penalised team. Our special teams are alright. Our kicker seems like he can kick now.
I like the way to start the season. Tampa's issue was the kicker. Losing games because you're a kicker at the start of the season. You fix the position, everything else goes to shite.
Yeah, it's impressive, really. Now, this team, I mean. You look to the draft. I think, and this is the critical failing, and it's been bothering me all day, in particular today. But I was pretty clear about this in the off season. This team improved its strengths, but didn't address its issues, and they're paying for it now. I think they were relying on a lot of young guys, just improving. Young guys that hadn't shown much to this point. Guys like Donovan Smith, The offensive lineman in particular. I don't know, and this is one that you'll know because I've been critical of this forever. Why in the world this team has had this idea that J.R. Sweezy was going to get healthy and be a really good player when he's never at any point in this league shown he's anything other than a slightly below par lineman is beyond me.
Reasons.
That's one I don't understand. We'll take Ali Marpet, our young, really talented right guard. He's played great for 2 years. We'll convert him to centre so we can put in a guy that we obtained from the Seahawks that no one else wanted, who was injured all of last year and frankly wasn't very good when he played for the Seahawks.
That sounds like Buccaneers football to me.
And we won't bring in anyone in to challenge Kevin Pamphile at left guard because we've just got a good feeling about him.
As I said, this sounds like Buccaneers football at its finest.
It's just they're really paying for ignoring the offensive line. They're paying for not doing enough to address the defensive end position. Again, they were just like, well, hopefully Noah Spence will come really good. In spite of the fact, even if Spence had turned into a 10-sack player this year, you still don't have anyone else other than Gerald McCoy. I mean, you look at the teams that are good at pass rushing in today's league, they've got multiple pass rushers.
It's quite funny. What's quite odd is, in a sense, the Cardinals and the Bucs are quite similar, except obviously the Cards have been able to win games, but they're very similar.
I think in the Cardinals' case, you can put a lot more of that down to having a real cupcake schedule.
Yeah, and our head coaches.
You've got to play the 49ers twice.
Yeah, it's a shame the Bucs can't play themselves twice.
Yeah. Well, who was your other win against? So you got us, the Niners twice. Who else did you beat?
Struggling to remember. Irrelevant, anyway. So yeah, anything else you feel the need to bring up about the Bucs at this point?
Well, I mean, they got the Jets next week, so that in theory should be winnable.
Yeah, that's not an easy matchup, though.
It's not. They've been quite a good team this year.
They've been a very good team this year.
They've been very impressive. They had a good win last week. But at the end of the day, this team should look at that matchup and think, yeah, we should win that. Don't think Jameis Winston's going to play. Probably for the best. I mean, with the season over now.
Actually, I can actually break the news live. Jameis Winston out for 2 to 3 weeks.
They confirmed it now.
Yeah.
Last source, it was doubtful. So that's probably for the best. So I get to see Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, that's the kind of game Ryan Fitzpatrick will win.
Yeah.
Just to further spite his former team.
Well, I think at this point with Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's a case of what team is not his former team.
That's legitimate, but I mean, for the Bucs, I just want to see. I want to see something from them. If I see a couple more performances like I saw it this week, then that's where it becomes a case of, fire everyone.
Well,
and I don't want to have another coaching change. We've had about 1 billion of them in the last decade, it feels like. But they just can't get that spot right. Is the fear at the moment.
Well, you got to shift through everything in order to get to the good stuff. I mean, this isn't the first time for a team this year I've turned around and said, yeah, sack the entire coaching staff, because I said the same about the Titans. Even if the Titans make the playoffs, I'd say the same.
I got to be honest, I still feel that way about the Titans.
Yeah, that's what I just said, yeah.
I watched that game yesterday against the Ravens. Well, I didn't watch it yesterday. I watched it this morning. Man, those are two really unimpressive teams.
Yeah, except Harbour will keep his job because Harbour.
He's a great head coach.
Oh, he's a fantastic head coach.
Yeah, they can fire him if they want. I'll drive. I'll learn to drive. I'll fly over to the States. I'll drive him to Tampa myself.
Oh yeah. I think teams would be lucky to have him and his brother. I really rate his brother as a head coach as well, personally.
I think everyone does. He's a bit of a Fruit Loop, but he made the league a better place, and Yeah, but he's got it cushy at Michigan. He ain't going nowhere for a while.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe the Buccaneers will go nuts and try and prize John Gruden out.
Again.
Be like, look, you can have a quarterback now.
Yeah, you could. Oh god, that would be amazing. Actually, no, I'd rather you didn't because Gruden's a really good head coach.
We were terrible at drafting and developing players with Gruden there. That was the problem.
Yeah, but your GM seems to have his head on straight. He's drafted quite well.
Yeah, well, we've gone best player available the last few years. It's part of the problem in terms of, the gaping holes are still gaping holes on this team.
Yeah.
They really need Vernon Hargraves to turn into the player they were hoping he'd be, because that's not happened yet.
Well, before we wrap up, I think one last thing. I know it's mid-season, but as I said, I think your season's pretty much done for at this point. Assuming top 5 pick in the draft, if you're the GM, what position are you targeting first? There's an absolute, we need this position filled right now, or we're in for another year.
Well, considering where that pick is, because I do think positional value is a big part of the draft. When you're in the top 10, you tend to see players of certain positions getting picked up there. And frankly, this year, some defensive ends I really like. And I think that would be the way this team would have to be go. Personally, if I had to have my pick now, Bradley Chubb, because then he can sack people and I can say, we got Chubb on, and he's a good player.
So you wouldn't address the offensive line?
I don't think there's a tackle that would be worth addressing at that, taking at that spot.
Not even.
I would love for them to, but I think defensive end, and defensive end is just as big a need.
So we're looking first 2 rounds. We're looking Bucs going mainly defense.
I think so.
That's fair.
They might look to get a tackle elsewhere. I don't know. It's hard to find a tackle these days. They might just have to draft a tackle because there won't be any in free agency. I know that much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not every team can be as lucky as the Redskins, the Browns, and the Titans. And by the way, that's the only time I'm ever going to use the word lucky in combination with Browns in the same sentence.
Now, I don't know, man. You draft a left tackle number 3 overall. You're not expecting him to be that good, but.
So I think that's it. Unless you've got anything you want to bring up.
No, not really. This team stinks. It's been a miserable month. October was horrific for this team.
Yep, and I don't think no changing anytime soon.
It's hard to see a turnaround, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick at the helm for the next few weeks.
Well, you never know. He might play well because he wants to get paid to be a backup somewhere else on his never-ending quest to travel the entire of the United States on teams money.
I still feel like he probably beats the Jets just out of spite because.
Oh yeah.
It would just be the Jet thing to do.
That's true. Right, well, if there's nothing else and no one in chat has any questions, that should be it from us. Of course, tune in again, I think, tomorrow, where we should be doing the Titan report, reporting on that 20-10 victory they had against the Ravens. Messy game, but a victory's a victory. We'll also have, it's the regularly scheduled podcast tomorrow, I believe, isn't it?
Tomorrow or Wednesday. Wednesday as well, the mid-season review episode will be going up. I don't know if you guys are helping me with that one, but either way, that will be up. So that'll be.
Yes. The plan is to we'll be doing a full 32 team mid-season review.
Yeah,
based on
team. Talk about the truly outstanding players on both sides.
Yeah, we'll be looking at obviously our expectations during that pre-season week 4 podcast we did versus what's happened now. Going through, all 32 teams, how they're stacking up. How many of these teams do we think can go the distance? That will be, as I said, that will be Wednesday or Tuesday. Obviously, follow us on Twitter to keep updated on our live shows where we're going live. Obviously, subscribe to the channel for updates so you can get notified immediately when we go live or Conboy posts one of his solo videos. And that's it from me.
Yeah, that's it for me, and I guess from the Buccaneers. Relevance this season.
Yep. This is one of those moments I wish I had the funeral march queued up, so as we faded out, I could just play that.
Would have been a valid option.
It would have been. Anyway,
played it for last week, but
I think this week was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, not just the result, but the performance as well. Losses are easier to take when you look like a team. Whereas,
yeah. Right, so we will see you tomorrow, guys. See you later.
Go Bucs.